Hi, it's Deborah again, and today we're going to make a card using the Zoo Crew stamp from Art Impressions. What I'm doing here is mounting it to one of my stamping blocks, and I'm going to go ahead and make a mask so that I can put the flowers on her dress using embossing ink, which will create a resist so that when I watercolor the picture, the flowers will stand out. I'm masking over her handbag right now so that it doesn't stamp into the picture. Not sure why I'm doing it for the mask, because in the end I end up leaving her handbag in the image anyway, but I do still remove the hat from the stamp because I'm going to change out her hat to just use a hibiscus flower instead. So I've gone ahead and stamped on a separate piece of paper, and next I'm going to cut the mask out and set it aside. So I'm using my Tim Holtz scissors. I know I should probably be using a smaller set of scissors, but these are comfortable to me. So I'm just going to cut out the mask, turning the paper as I cut. And this is fairly simple. And of course I'll save the mask for future use with this particular stamp so that I don't have to recut it again. Okay, and once I have it cut out, I'm going to turn it over and use a piece of masking tape to cover up that little slit there, just to make it easier to place over the image once I do my stamping. Okay, now I'm going to take my stamp again and put the embossing ink on there and cover up the hat, and then go ahead and stamp it down on my watercolor paper. And I found that it's easier to emboss on the smoother side of the watercolor paper than it is on the dimpled side, so just feel for the smoother side of your paper before you set down your embossing ink. Okay, I've got that inked up now with the embossing, and I'm going to go ahead and take the Martha Stewart's black embossing powder and sprinkle that over there into my coffee filter and shake off the excess. I use a little paintbrush to take off any little particles that are there that I don't want, because once they're heat set, they're there permanently, so I gently go in and brush those off. The great thing about using a coffee filter is you can just fold it in half and funnel your excess back into the container. Okay, I'm going to warm up my heat gun prior to bringing it to my paper, and I'm embossing my little elephant. Okay, so she's embossed. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take the mask that I cut out previously and place it over the image to protect the rest of the image for when I stamp this hibiscus onto her dress, using, again, embossing ink, and that's going to create a relief or a resist so that when I watercolor, the hibiscus flowers will stand out on her dress, just like you would see in a Hawaiian sarong or beach dress, sundress. I don't know why I'm thinking about summer and the beach, because we're in the middle of winter here, but spring will be here soon, right? Okay, I've put the embossing ink on, and I'm going to go ahead and use some sparkling embossing powder. Okay, again, shake off the excess. And there you go. Put the excess back. A little bit goes a long way. And then heat up my heat gun and emboss again. Okay, once I'm done embossing, I'm going to use the painter's tape, masking tape, to tape my image down to the surface. That helps to eliminate some of the buckling that the paper will do when the water is applied. It's just regular painter's tape, and that'll keep it from tearing the paper when you remove it. Okay, I'm going to use Tim Holtz Distress Inks again, several colors, more than these 4 that I've placed out here. I'm going to go ahead and put down the inks on the stamp block there, the acrylic stamp block. I have my water and my number 2 paintbrush, and I'm going to go ahead and paint. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward, and you can just enjoy the painting. I'll put some music in for you as well. Okay, so at this point I'm going to go ahead and put the hibiscus flower using the little stamp there. And you'll notice that I use Memento ink, which unfortunately does not play well with water. I should have used a watercolor ink, which I do have. I use Stamps by Judith's ink for watercolors. So when you make this card, be sure to use an ink that plays well with water. Okay. Okay, so we're done painting, and I went ahead and cut the the image down, and I'm going to mount it on a piece of cardstock that measures a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I'm going to also mount it to one of these Recollection pre-cut cards that I got at Michael's. Okay, I'm going to punch it with an EK Success Wave Punch. I'm not sure the actual name of it, but the image is a wave, so I'll call it a wave punch. I love these punches. They're so easy to use. You just line up the image and punch, line it up, and punch again until you're done. Okay, and to mount the image to this cardstock, I'm going to use some Scotch foam tape. I'm going to use quite a bit of it. I don't normally use this much, but I want this image to lay flat, but I also want it to be mounted up. So I'm going to put tape on all the edges and one strip down the middle. You can also use just glue dots or some fun foam if you have that. I don't have any fun foam right now. So Scotch tape works quite well. Once I've gotten this mounted to the pink cardstock, I'm going to mount it again to the white pre-made card using double-sided Miracle tape. You can also use score tape, but Miracle tape is less expensive and it does the same thing as Sequin score tape. Okay, and there's the Miracle tape I was speaking of. I'm going to put it around all the edges. I like score tape because you can tear it with your finger. You don't need to use the scissors. There you go. And I'm going to peel up the backing. I'm using the Martha Stewart cutting blade to pull up the tape. It's easier on the fingernails. Okay, make sure all the tape is in place, and I'm pasting it down. Okay, and there you have it, a card, watercolored, titled Beach Babe. I'm going to add the sentiment. I think I'll send this to one of my sisters when I'm on a cruise come April. The sentiment says, "It's okay. I'd be jealous too." This time I'm inking with archival ink, which does play well with water as well. Okay, and there you have it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Talk to you later.